Imagine telling an athlete to trust the process, stay focused, lean into the discomfort, and then not actually apply the same mindset to your own journey. For the past year, we at the Athlete's Health have been doing exactly what we've been teaching, applying the same mental skills we coach athletes on and teams, and now we're starting to see them pay off. Let's go, baby. But in this episode, I really do want to reflect on the journey, growing the athlete's health over the past year, refining just a mental gym concept, thought, and idea into a system that athletes can actually trust, that can actually be used and implemented and growth from, and showing how we can use these same mental performance principles to stay resilient, stay locked in, push through the challenges, whatever it is. We can use this same concepts, just like in athletics, in competition, and performance, in building what we've built here thus far in a work job setting, anything. And we're going to cover them all here. So in this episode, we're going to be unveiling the next phase 2. Year 1 happened, year 2's up here. Fully upgraded Phronoic Gym, a bigger ecosystem, new chapter for the mental performance playbook. And as we break down what's new, we're going to share the exact mental exercises we've been using behind the scenes to build this all up, to stay focused, to stay resilient through it, to stay confident while building it all. Because anyone who has tried and done their thing, who I've talked to, it's pretty hard. Hey y'all, welcome to the Mental Performance Playbook, where we break down elite mental strategies and discover these actionable exercises to apply them immediately on top of what we're already doing. My name is Gabe Rummel, mental performance coach, founder of the Athlete's Health and creator of its Phronoic Gym, where we're training your mind just like we train your body. Now, each week in these episodes, we focus on a mental performance theme to hopefully help the athlete or coaches or parents trying to help their athletes with practical tools to build stronger focus, resilience, and confidence. Today's episode is a little different though. We're peeling back the curtains to show you how we have applied the same mental principles behind the scenes to the brand. That was just an idea, to scaling a business to something that is now actually getting paid for services that they are given out, for refining a concept of a mental gym into a trademarked Phronoic Gym into what it is today. So we got kind of 3 main major upgrades that we have done that's going to impact athletes and teams everywhere, and I want to walk through them. What's new? What have things grew through the past year, highlighting the exact mental exercises that we have used to stay locked in, to perform at our best, and to level up a business and the mental side of just everything. And before I get into that, I do just want to thank all of the mentors that I've had, all the groups I've been a part of, coaches, parents, including my own, any people that took a chance on just a college kid finishing college with an idea and blossoming that into a service that does now starting to get paid for the services it is provided to the mental side of sports, to showing the awareness, to spreading it out. It does come back to all the community, all the people who help it out and keep spreading the word. We aren't stopping. Yeah. We're only starting, and this is the explanation of what happened in 2024 and hopefully what 2025 is bringing. But we're not going to unveil all those cards. Just kind of going to go through the repeat of what has happened with 3 main big exercises and the mental exercises that we used to build them. So let's get into it. Upgrade number 1, new direction of the mental performance playbook. Originally, the Athlete's Health podcast, Athlete's Health show. I didn't know what to call it, but originally was an idea to just bring in athletes, coaches, leaders, anyone to learn some mental performance tricks, exercises, break them down, see them at the highest level, and try to just give more information out, try to connect with more people in this. That's kind of what it was. Turned into then creating more content, creating more exercises for my exercises themselves, and providing more stuff with those deep dives, turning into actual business and connecting with real people and working on it. So it's had some evolution, but the new direction is the mental performance playbook. That is what the podcast is, and it's under the athlete's health business, right? That's the main business because it comes from all the things that I saw pro athletes doing that helped their health as I had that also nutrition and exercise background. I saw all that stuff when I was health coaching, but ultimately knowing that I did want to get into the mental side of athletics. So the athlete's health was a good umbrella term name for the actual business. Number two, that is actually happening within the podcast itself, the media side, media marketing is travel interviewing and program spotlights. This is pretty cool. We actually saw it last week as the first one. It was almost a test, but if I'm traveling, I'm making it a business trip. That's always the plan. And I was fortunate enough to talk with, get in contact with Pack Basketball through the kind of phase one of the podcast. And because it stood for passion, attitude, confidence, as we kind of know, through that past episode, go check out the most recent one, going to Pack Basketball and talking to them, working out their practice, interviewing some of the athletes, sitting down for a shorter podcast because they had to. It was in between their practices. They had about a break between their practices because they work hard. But this gives listeners a front row seat into high performance environments. And we can see from the programs that I personally have admiration for. Pack Basketball stood for passion, attitude, confidence. I saw they were winning their games, but they also had a little bit more behind them than just winning their games. And the founder isn't too much older than me. It was a great connection. It was something awesome that I want to do. But this is something that we're going to keep doing with local programs, organizations, not just have to be basketball. Baseball season is coming up, softball season, and I am excited for it to travel the podcast, take the media with us as we start to talk, see programs as they are out. And I can talk about that now because we just released it last week and we're going to keep doing it. The last thing from this is what it brings is just more free mental tools. And this is really what I love. This is what I love to tell people about this stuff, but we got breakdowns, real life case studies. We're going to be diving into some books, some biographies, autobiographies, some performance psychology instances where we're going to look even deeper into some of these mental exercises that athletes and coaches can immediately apply. We're going to break down what I consume, what I use, and put it forth. So it's been pretty cool to do all this. I had some people have passed now, but who have helped me with it. And it was awesome to see it develop, their motivation behind it. They keep me going, keep it doing. But like I said, all these, I want to talk about the mental exercises that I use behind it. So we can see that all this stuff that we use for the performance in the sport applies to anything else that we are doing too. So a few that I used quite a lot. So mental reps in high stakes situations. Each conversation I had was this past year has been a new conversation. I've not done any of that stuff before. It was crazy. It still is, right? As I keep developing, talking to people I had no idea I would talk to a year ago. It's awesome. But this takes a lot of visualization, a lot of rehearsing under pressure. And sometimes I don't practice enough and I can tell. But the amount of rehearsal visualizing I do before I go into a meeting, before I go to present something, before I go to coach, work with a team, an athlete is a lot. Now, it's not as much as some people that I've learned from, some people I've studied from. I need to put more time into it, but I'm just pointing out that visualizing, the rehearsing under pressure, making that pressure something that we have to go through is something huge that I do. Because I say we, because I got people who help me and anyone else who supports the business, the athlete's health, part of the team. We're all TAH Titans. But I practice the high stake conversations, the pitches. I've practiced it countless through some business startups that I was in or business accelerators where we just practiced it over and over. How to refine this word here, this word there, these presentations. It's all just like athletes performing their game in the high pressure game moment, right? Clock reached zero. After I'm done talking to someone, clock is at zero. It's you win or go home. It's whatever it is. But it's big moments there. And practicing them over and over. That visualization, the rehearsal is the key for this one. And lastly, before kind of pitching the services to teams or building partnerships or trying to work with athletes and talking to the parents, mental reps of the conversations, visualizing kind of what we might be saying, what they might say, trying to learn and gain the knowledge, just talking to so many people about what the kind of the biggest problems are, what they might need help with more. These are all things that apply directly to the sport, but I'm showing how anything that I be saying out here is exactly what I'm using too behind the scenes, and why I hope and why we're making 2025 hopefully the best it can be as we go. And once again, how we're recollecting the past year to not give away all our secrets for the next year. Number two was upgrading our stuff. I went through some courses, just like you maybe go train at a different camp or anything else. And I learned to build out kind of a system, something to help people out with. Now, I also learned that some of the content or things I was using for it probably was copywriting it, probably was trademarking. It was someone else's. You live and learn. Nothing bad came to it because honestly, throughout that process, I only worked with a few athletes, a few teams. Services were not very paid for at that time. But I then learned, through other mentors, through other connections, make my own content, trademark my, not content, but well, yeah, content. I'm going to show it here in a second. Make my own stuff, trademark it, make it my own. No one else can use it. And that is what we have as we revamped kind of just a mental gym idea into the Phronoic Gym. It comes from phronesis, modern wisdom. It comes from phrenesis, the mind itself. It comes from chronos, time. This is all Greek mythology. I love our Greek origin. I love Greek mythology. Therefore, our TH Titans. The logo of the heartbeat also looks like, I think it looks like a sphere or spear that a Titan could hold. Titans are the top food chain, basically, eventually beat out by the gods, Zeus. But it's a great story, and that's why we're TH Titans, but also why it's the Phronoic Gym. It relates to modern, practical wisdom. It relates to the mind. It relates to time, doing things. It's going to take a little bit of time, right? But revamping the course, revamping the program, we now have exercises that are progressed. Just like if we're teaching any skills, we're going to slowly add things onto it, right? And our exercises are now progressed. And I'm showing that here right now. This is, for instance, one of our exercises. This might be a freebie here later on, but this is our VTO, right? This is our very own. It's copyrighted, but we go all the way from Hoplite, which is just a little small human warrior, to the Titans, to the top of the food chain. Each time you level up, whether we are coaching you through it, coaching your team through it, which sometimes our teams don't necessarily use these verbatim, or you're just becoming a member of Phronoic Gym and going through these yourself, it really does help because it's tiered levels depending on who we're working with, what age we're working with, where you are at in your mental performance area. I know, like, if back when I was in high school, I would definitely not have been at the very top. I would have wanted to be, but I would have worked my way up to it. Right. So this is our tiered system that we now have. Did not have that before. But a lot of the times when we're working with athletes or teams, we might pull from one of these, but we also spin off it. We're always going to be adding more exercises to our Phronoic Gym. We got resources on it too, because these are the on-man exercises, basically. It's ever-evolving library of exercises, just like you go to the gym. You got a lot of different physical exercises that you can be doing, but these focus on focus, resilience, confidence, our C's of performance. We got 13 of them. The last thing with this is I just kept trying to figure out a way to make a community. I'd use this software there, that software there, keep evolving. Once again, shout out to my mentors to help me build up a system, something that can actually work, a way to interact with people. But community, direct support, depending on if you get on the gym, get in the gym. You can text me whenever. You can still text me whenever online, right? But we build a community, the accountability for quick checkups, mental tune-ups, whatever we need to strengthen that mental game. And that is really the goal of it. What did we use for this? Those mental exercises, leveling up with intentional progressions is kind of a big one that we did for this, a big thing that we teach people on. But I always say mountain goal, right? That was one of the first things I've been doing throughout the athlete's health, used it in health coach and everything else. We have to break those big goals down into the manageable progressions, whether that is a milestone, a stepping stone, you name it. We have to take the step back. I've had the vision of setting something up like this for over the year. I just took a lot of steps to get to it, right? So we had to build this in stages. Knew that this was something I wanted. Need to test the waters. Don't add too much on it. See what teams or athletes actually kind of want, kind of don't want. What we can use, what features to add, what progressions to use to make it as something that's actually wanted. Mapping out the journey for athletics, right? Helping an athlete, a team, overcome any of the bumps, any of those roadblocks on their way up to that mountain goal by finding that next stepping stone goal, by handling all the pressures, all the road bumps that come. It's exactly just what we did behind the scenes here, starting with that foundation and idea and building it into the higher levels to really gain that momentum and build it up. Whether that is kind of some of the free resources, the email list of exercises every week and updates every month, people getting on the gym, just testing it out with so many friends and families and for free for so long, honestly, to just keep building, gain that momentum so we can level it up. And lastly, the third upgrade that I wanted to talk about here, because I wrote down notes. I don't think I'm going to forget anything. If I do, I might hop back on and record it later. But expanding the athlete's health ecosystem, right? We had an idea behind it, kind of what we wanted to do. We've done some here, done some there, got advice from many people, right, on how to do it. Studied some models. There's not many people who present this as mental coaching, strength training, like physically, but for the mind. It's a very new service, very new thing that we're hoping to get on and help out every team, every school in the system, and then also go into that with one-on-one. So that's what we have in the ecosystem. We have that one-on-one coaching, but we also have the team consulting, right? And hopefully it's not just a one-off workshop, but it's actually working with the team, getting contracted out for their season to level them up, because the pros have a mental performance coach for their team, but in youth there is not a thing. So that's what the athlete's health is for. Help us by spreading the word. Shout out to that. But scaling the service to impact at different levels. Obviously, when we work with teams, we try to go in depth and help them out, each athlete, but you can only know them so much, which is also why we have the one-on-one coaching for some of those parents or the athletes that want that extra support, that extra edge to get that mental performance to add on top to level up their overall game. Second was our Phronoic Gym, the athlete's health, working on getting trademarked. Phronoic Gym is working on getting trademarked. It's a scalable solution. Like a gym, you got your memberships. If you don't want the straight up one-on-one coaching, or if your team isn't doing it or the season's done, it's pretty cheap to get on it. Got kind of all this on a little platform for you to use, to try, to go with whenever you need it, to walk through it, to add on to it. And then just a hub for mental excellence. This is a whole ecosystem. Got the Facebook group, got the weekly emails going out, got all the content going online, which is where it started, right? With just an idea. But building that hub for mental excellence with that umbrella of the athlete's health business, whether that is through the Phronoic Gym or the mental performance playbook of the podcast out here, of kind of the stuff and deeper information, trying to give it out so we can actually develop that mental side. And in the main exercise, if we're saying mental exercise that we did for this, was a lot of resilience under pressure. Anyone who has worked for something really hard knows it's really hard. Okay, I guess. Anyone who has worked for something really hard knows the challenges that come along with it, the pressure that it takes, a lot of no's in the face, a lot of things that don't work out, but you have to keep going, right? It's just like if you're really working for that hard team, is what I tell some freshmen, is that like, you're at this level right now. You have these years to put it in, and then by the time you're junior, senior, who knows what your play is going to be like. Or I do shout out the Murrays quite a lot. Freshman year of high school, playing on, I don't know if it was sophomore team or varsity already. Sophomore year, now starting to be on varsity. Junior year, no scouts. Senior year, some scouts come into practice, but no D1 offers. Go to a prep school, get the reps in, keep trusting it, that resilience, get the D1 offer, just perform like crazy there and make the NBA when 5 whatever years ago, no one's even looking at you in high school. It's crazy. We have to keep going, knowing that there's going to be some slow growth phases, but we have to adapt to it. We have to navigate it. We have to know the challenges are going to come, and we have to stay consistent even when the progress isn't evident. when it's not obvious, we have to keep going. That's what we did, and that's what we preach so much in the sports that we do. But it's also why I like when my mentors tell me, like, I guess it kind of makes sense because your business is always the mental side of it. So you need that in business just as much as you need in the sports and the athletics, don't you? Because they know Ironman people, they played some stuff in college themselves. That's pretty cool. But that growth can be slow early on, right? For me, it is still kind of slow, but it's also picking up. It has its ebbs and flows, right? But we lean into the exercise of staying patient to stay patient. We have to trust the process. We have to keep pushing through. We have to push to the next levels. We always say we're leveling up, just like the athletes that we work with and that we know and that we talk to, like on the Mental Performance Playbook. Previously, the Athlete's Health Podcast. Gotta stay locked in during the tough moments. Those are when you have to keep going. And it's all these things that we can add on, sprinkle in on top to level up the game with the mental side of it. And that's really is the beauty behind it. So I just want to make sure we know what's next, not revealing our secrets, obviously, but also why it matters. New podcast direction. We're going to be doing some more pros on here. We're going to be doing some traveling stuff, going to the teams, the organizations. It's going to be pretty cool, getting that real world breakdown. And of course, continuing to drop these exercises, the additions, how to add it on top of what you're already doing physically so you can level up your game. The Phronoic Gym is out. It's no longer just a mental gym. As very generic. This is our very own. No one else is going to have Phronoic Gym. It's fully upgraded mental gym. It has structured progressions, things that you can use to have direct support, direct coaching, resources, you name it, going to be on here, things for us to use. And that just ties right into that expanded ecosystem. The Athlete's Health was just an idea at one point. It is turning slowly into more than that. So it's pretty cool. But this ecosystem of the podcast, the Performance Playbook, of Phronoic Gym, of different ways, even just our speaking stuff that we do to get out in front of more people, or just workshops that we do one-off to help people. Not our favorite stuff to do, but very much needed and still helps spread the word. Many, many ways for the athletes, for the people to develop mentally. Whatever way it is, if we're working on the mental game, leveling it up, hearing that we're helping people out. It's pretty awesome. It's crazy. 24, first year of actually really going after helping the mental side of athletics instead of just health coaching or personal training like we did all of college. So it's pretty cool to have this recap here because about a year ago is when we actually started the podcast of an idea and when we kind of finished just the first rundown of telling people, hey, got this idea. Let's see if it works. But I just want to make sure we know these same mental skills that build elite athletes also work to build a high performing business. I think, from everyone I've talked to, I'm definitely not there yet, but whether you've been listening, joining the Phronoic Gym, working with us directly, or just checking it out, bringing that same level of discipline, focus, resilience to everything we do for what you see and behind the scenes. Now it's time for us to take it to the next level this next year, and hopefully you do just as much in your athletic endeavors. Thank you for checking out the Mental Performance Playbook, part of the Athlete's Health. Catch you next week. My name was Gabe. Thank you for checking out this kind of recap and projection of the next year for our business. And if you know anyone who wants any coaching, any teams that need coaching, anyone else who even should just have a kind of talk on that mental side, connect with us, shoot it our way, and I'll catch you next week.